Welcome back, lovely people. I am really far behind on my most worn videos. I've been trying to film them monthly and I have not been doing that. I have been recording the data, but I just haven't been filming the videos. So I thought I would do an overhead setup today because I feel like I can talk through things a lot more quickly when I'm not staring at a camera. Just looking at the camera freaks me out. Even after all these years, I still am not very good at talking to a camera. So I decided that I want to get these done and I'm going to film all of the catch-up videos. I'm actually behind by 3 months at the moment. I've got to do June, July and August. We are now in September. Today is the 7th of September. So yeah, I'm just going to try and film them all today. I will still do them as separate videos just because it's easier that way for you guys to search if you want to go back to a specific month. And of course, if I was to do all 3 months into one video, then the video would be very long because there'd be lots of perfumes to talk about. I have also been playing around with my Dazzle Dry nail polish. This is the first time I've worn this sort of periwinkle colour. This is a few days old now and I've moved furniture, I've scrubbed the fridge, I've done lots of cleaning, and these nails have seen some rough times this week and they're still looking okay. I mean, if they're not looking great, it's really just because the paint job that I did was not great. I'm still learning, I'm still refining my nail painting technique, but I'm actually pretty happy with how these are holding up. This Dazzle Dry nail polish is so good. I'm not an affiliate or anything, so I'm not trying to sell you, but for those who are interested, it dries really quickly and it doesn't peel and chip like normal nail polish does. It really does have much better lasting power. And if you use the ridge filler, which I do, you get this really smooth effect. And I don't know, it sort of feels a bit like shellac or gel, but it's not. And it just comes off with normal nail polish. So it's meant to be a little bit healthier for your nails. But in any case, I'm actually really loving the whole doing my own nails thing at the moment, but obviously I'm still learning. I thought I would really like this periwinkle sort of colour. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm loving it, but I kind of just wanted a bit of a change from the ballerina pink that I've been wearing a lot. So anyway, enough about nails. We're here to talk about perfume. I have 5 perfumes for the month of June that I want to talk about. These were the ones that were worn substantially more than any other perfume in my wardrobe. Even though June is very much a winter month for us, we did have a holiday in Bali for a week in the month of June, so we did have a week of warmer weather. Let us get on with the list because I do have a couple of honourable mentions that I want to talk about as well. All right, so the first one I'm going to talk about is Rose de Jamal from Les Indomptables. This is a really beautiful rose perfume. It's new to my wardrobe. Well, it was new in the month of June. There was a perfumery who was, I think, closing down, or they were changing hands, changing management, and they had a massive sale and these were really heavily discounted. And so I managed to pick this up in that sale. I'm really happy about it because when I first tried this perfume back in 2022, first I wasn't sure if I loved it. And then by the end of the day on that first wear, I absolutely was completely smitten with it. But I was on a no-buy year, so I did not buy it. And a good thing too, because as I said, I got this heavily discounted. I should probably bring it up so that you can actually see. The rose in here is a little bit dark, but there is also a hint of soapiness, which could be coming from other things like citruses, and I think there's neroli in here as well. But there is a brightness to this perfume, but the rose itself does come across as being kind of dark. It's also a little bit green, and the sweetness in here is very natural smelling. It's not sugary. So the rose note in here doesn't come across as being jammy, and it's also quite earthy. It has kind of I like to say it has a bit of a sort of an essential oil vibe to it, but it's not that either really. I think it's just the rose note is just very natural and it smells earthy. However, it doesn't smell like dirt or soil either. There is a darkness to it. And I think the darkness also comes from the resins and the woods that are in here, which are balanced by a really lovely sort of aromatic green tones. There's an almost mintiness in here, which gives it a bit of freshness. And so you've got this really lovely balance of bright and vibrant notes with these sort of darker, more sultry elements. And it's just an absolutely fantastic perfume. And I'm so, so glad that I managed to get my hands on it because I have been loving it. And as I mentioned, I wore it 4 times in the month of June. Okay, so the next one I also wore 4 times, and that is Love Delight by Amouage. This is a very controversial perfume, I feel, because people either love it or they hate it, or they like it, but they feel like it's massively overpriced. I'm somewhere between the I love it and I think it's massively overpriced camp. I do think to be honest, I do feel that for the scent profile, it is more expensive than I think it needs to be. However, I actually really do love this perfume, which is weird in and of itself, right? Because the point of view of this perfume is that it's meant to smell like a croissant. Or remind you of a pastry. And it is definitely very gourmand. The opening is just beautiful. It's got ginger and citrus notes, so it's very sparkly and bright. There's orange blossom, bunch of florals, I think. I get quite a lot of heliotrope from this. Heliotrope, yes, it's powdery, but it also has a very distinctive sort of smell, which is quite sweet. And I don't know, there's just something about it. It just smells so innocent in a way. It has a kind of an innocent nature to it. And whenever I smell it in perfumes, that's what I feel I get. I get this element of sweet, youthful innocence. The dry down on this is a little less exciting. It sort of gets this aroma chemical, woody aspect to it. So I don't know if there's like a bunch of ambroxan in here or something, but it's nice, but it's not super exciting. It's definitely the opening that's the showstopper here for me. Having said that, sorry, my battery died and I don't know where I got to. So basically the dry down on this is not that exciting, but it's pretty enough. And it's quite, for a perfume that is so light and airy and soft in its wear experience, it actually is quite strong and long lasting as well. So this is the type of perfume I would happily wear to work because I feel like the scent profile is very pleasing. No one's really going to get offended by it and it will last all day. And I don't necessarily have to carry around a decant to reapply. I'll definitely be able to smell this on the drive home in the afternoon after I've been at work all day. So that is Love Delight and I wore it 4 times. Next up is one that I have featured in another video, which I haven't edited and uploaded yet, so I don't know which one is going to come first. However, regardless, I will try and remember to link the other video to this one because I give a much more detailed description in that video. This is Elae by Trudon, and this is from the company Trudon that makes the candles, and I love all of their products. I'm obsessed with their candles. At the moment, I have one of their diffusers in my bathroom, and it's like a little bit of joy every day when I go into the bathroom and I smell this diffuser. It's quite strong too, I have to say. So I might actually do a bit of a favorites video and just share some of the things that I've really been loving lately because I don't know, there's a bunch of things that I'm just currently really obsessed with. So anyway, so Elae by Trudon. This surprisingly has had really sort of average to poor feedback on online forums. You know, a lot of people are really underwhelmed by this perfume, but I absolutely adore it. I just think it's so gorgeous. And I'll try and insert a photo in here of where the level is at. I was practically bathing myself in this stuff for the first 3 or 4 weeks when I first had it. And I've made quite a substantial dent. This is a 100 ml bottle and I've made quite a dent in it already. So this is sort of a really light, it's very white floral centric, sort of tropical florals, I guess, as well. So there's jasmine and ylang ylang. It's a bit soapy as well from the neroli. And then there's a sort of a blonde wood element in the base. I think there's musk as well. It's just, it isn't, I agree that it isn't necessarily an overcomplicated scent profile, and it wears very linearly. What you get in the opening is pretty much what you get in the dry down. Maybe the dry down is a little bit muskier, but it's just a really gorgeous blend of these white florals and some blonde woods and musk, and it's just it just goes with everything. I mean, I have literally showered myself with this in the morning, and then around lunchtime I can still smell it, but then I might put something over the top. I've layered it with other things. I just love the smell of this. I just want to smell like this all the time, basically. And yeah, I think if you have read some of the reviews and you sort of think, I'm not going to bother, I just encourage you to, if the note listing sounds appealing to you, then maybe just get a sample of it and try it. Don't prejudge it based on the very poor commentary that it's had, because I think it's absolutely stunning, and I also think this is sort of signature worthy as well. I would happily wear this every day if I didn't have the option to wear a bunch of other stuff as well. So that is Elae by Trudon, and I wore it 5 times, I think. Yes, 5 times. Okay, the next one I wore 6 times, and I have spoken about this already quite a bit. This is, and it's going to be very reflective, so I'll try to not blind you, but this is Montabaco Flor by Ormond Jane. Anyway, we'll just leave it there. I just don't know what to do with bottles that are so reflective. So this is obviously a flanker of the original Montabaco by Ormond Jane. Montabaco is a really gorgeous perfume in and of itself, just the original Montabaco. It does arguably lean a little on the masculine side, but actually I think it's quite unisex, and the reason I picked up this flanker was purely because I had a travel size of the Montabaco original, and I just started wearing it one day and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And then I noticed that they had these flankers, and this one in particular has a lot of florals added to it. It's got, you know, florals like freesia and jasmine and orange blossom. It's just really bright, but it also has a presence as well. There's like these suede undertone, and there's tobacco, but the tobacco isn't too heavy and dense like it can be in a lot of other perfumes. It's kept very light, it's very translucent, and it's a bit of spice in there as well. It's kind of peppery and citrusy at the same time. It's an absolutely fantastic scent profile, and I can understand why they have made so many flankers of this, because it's just a really great, the original formula, the original DNA is so pleasing, and it goes so well, I think, with lots of different notes and scent profiles. So you can tweak it to take it in different directions. And in this particular one, they've taken it in a floral direction. I have, since getting this, I did also pick up the Montabaco Cuba, which is in a light blue bottle that's reflective like this. And that is much more citrus forward, particularly in the opening, even though the original Montabaco is also citrusy. So it has this more juicy aspect to it, which I think will go really lovely in the summer. And we are coming into summer, so I'm really looking forward to getting lots of wear out of that. But yes, Montabaco Flor, absolutely stunner of a fragrance. I have worn this a lot since I first got it, and I know I've only recorded 6 wears as my scent of the day, but I often also spritz this on in the morning to go to the gym as well. I don't wear a lot of it to the gym because it is quite diffusive and projects a lot, but I do sometimes just put a little spritz under my clothes for the gym if I just want to get little whiffs of it throughout my workout because it is so fresh. And I often will spritz it on over other things in the afternoon if I'm taking the dog for a walk, because it's such a great perfume to wear outdoors because it is so diffusive. Anyway, Montabaco Flor by Honourable Mentions. I wore it 6 times in the month of June and I absolutely love it. All right, so now we've come to the perfume that I wore the most in the month of June. And of all of the most worn perfume videos that I've done this year, this may come as a bit of a surprise, but the perfume that I recorded the most wears of in June was Sol de Janeiro Rio Radiance. So it's a nice, I wouldn't say it's inexpensive, but it certainly is not a pricey perfume. It is a body mist as well. This is just a really gorgeous white floral body mist, and I absolutely loved wearing it every single day that we were in Bali. I wore it every day. I would put this on in the morning, and then throughout the day I might spritz something else on over the top. And even in the evenings, if we went out, which we did, we went out for dinner most evenings or had dinner at the resort, I would have a shower, then I'd spray some more of this on, and then I'd spray something else over the top. So I just layered it with everything effectively. So this is, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but the level is kind of now at the top of this sort of oval that's in the label. So I did tear through a fair bit of it, and actually now that I smell it, yeah, it smells, it reminds me of my Bali trip. I guess this became my Bali scent while I was there. So again, it is a white floral dominant fragrance, primarily tuberose, as is written on the label. And I think there's a ylang-ylang in here as well. It's not, what I like about it and what differentiates this from a lot of the other Sol de Janeiro fragrances is the fact that this is not overly sweet. So this is definitely more of a floral focus. It's not gourmand. It doesn't have that sweetness or the sugariness of the other Sol de Janeiro fragrances that really didn't gel with me at all. It just smells like summer. Okay, Poppy, I'll let you out. It smells like the beach. It does have a bit of a suntan lotion bent to it because it does have coconut in there. I think the notes are coconut, tuberose, ylang-ylang and vanilla or something. But as I mentioned, the vanilla is very light. It's not too sweet and it's not too gourmand. And it doesn't feel gourmand to me at all, really. It smells like summer. And I love it. All right, so that's basically the list for the most worn perfumes of the month of June. But I do just also want to mention a couple of other things that just caught my attention throughout the month. First of all, Tuberoza by Elae. I now have this little 15 ml, but when I went on holiday in Bali, I just took a little sample with me. And when I got back from Bali, I bought this little 15 ml. And the reason I picked this one up is because I was wearing it in Bali and I really, really enjoyed it. And in fact, I even got a compliment on it. It's just a really, it's a very translucent sort of bubblegummy tuberose. Again, it's quite linear. It doesn't come off as being super complicated, but it just wears really nicely on my skin and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. And I think I'll really enjoy wearing this in summertime over here as well. And as I said, I got complimented on it, which, you know, compliments are pretty rare for me. So there you go. Tuberoza by Elae. I also did wear this little guy. This is More Than Words by Xerjoff. I only have, again, the little 15 ml because that's all I can afford. This one sort of got me in the end. When I first tried it and first put it on my skin, I didn't love the opening. And it is a rose oud, so, you know, it's not a scent profile that I think is particularly exciting for me. It's not a scent profile that I normally gravitate towards. But I really, really loved the dry down of this. And I think it's just the way the rose develops in this perfume as it dries down that I really, really appreciate. It's just got a lot of depth to it. It's not too light, it's not too green, it's not too jammy. And yeah, I just wanted to call it out that I did wear this a couple of times throughout the month, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it once I sort of got past that opening. That is More Than Words by Xerjoff, just a little honourable mention there. And then finally, the other honourable mention is just this little sample that I have of L'Or de Louis by Artiste. I think this was a finalist for the Art and Olfaction Awards, or did it win an award? I can't remember. It's a launch from last year in 2023, and when I was in Spain earlier this year, I managed to pick up a sample of it from one of the perfumeries there. And this is really, really great. It's basically a white floral, but it's got this sort of smoky dark element to it as well, which I don't know what it is with me and white florals with a dark base, but there's just something magical about it. You know, I love Lady Whitesnake by Stefan Humbert Lucas. I don't know what it is about that sort of scent profile, but it just works. I think I read a comment somewhere saying that this was very ordinary, and I disagree. I just don't think it's ordinary at all. If you read the note listing and you think you're going to get, you know, a bright orange blossom, jasmine-y, white floral type of perfume, think again, because this does have a lot more going on than that. It's quite woody. Again, as I mentioned, it's got like this smokiness to it. There's a greenness to it as well, which sometimes is quite piercing, but then it's softened by the musk and the honeyed notes in here. I'm still getting to know it. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. And it's kind of going on my wish list, but I also do have Fleur de Louis, which is a discontinued one from the Artiste line, which is also centered around sort of the orange blossom, white florals, but that's more sparkly and aldehydic, whereas this, you know, it's got this honeyed, earthy, smoky, dark aspect to it that I really find very, very intriguing. So that concludes my most worn fragrances for the month of June. If you are enjoying this sort of content, and if you've just stumbled across this video and you want to see more like this, then I will link the playlist that I have done, which includes all of the other videos up until the month of June, talking about my most worn perfumes. Please do give it a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you very shortly in the next video. Thanks. Bye.